What's up, guys? We're back again. The Webheads Podcast. The podcast where we give you the TLDR of Marvel Comics events.
But we make it a lot harder for you because we're super long with it.
Yeah. But it's still less time than it would take you to read it. So technically we're doing what we said we were doing. And this week we got a story called Craven's Last Hunt. This is a Spider-Man story.
A classic Spider-Man story.
A hell of a good one, I'll tell you that much. Let's get to it.
Hello.
As some of you may know, we record some of these episodes one at a time, sometimes two at a time. I don't think we've done three at a time yet.
I think we tried doing three at a time one time, and it was torture.
Yeah. I think we might have done a double episode, so I guess technically that counts as three.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was bad. But yeah, so I only brought that up because we just recorded an episode before this, and I asked you what you've been up to. So I'm going to ask you again and hope that you have a different answer.
Let's see. Have you played Super Mario Strikers yet?
I got it yesterday. I haven't. I tried some of the training yesterday. I realized as soon as I turned mine on, it popped up and said that you were on as well. But I haven't really had a chance to play with it yet because Zara keeps stealing my Switch.
Yeah, I keep playing. I'm trying to get used to the controls and understand how everything works.
Yeah, I did a quick play and I couldn't remember how to switch characters. Switch players. So I was like, I lost pretty bad.
Yeah, I did one. I was doing a tournament cup, and I won the first 2-3 games, and then I get to the last team, and they beat me. It was 7-0.
Yeah, it was. When I got blasted out in that quick play, I was like, "Oh, let me do the training a little bit more." It was 4-0, and I didn't remember. I didn't think to go into the pause menu and the controls until literally a minute left in the game, and then that's when I figured out how to switch. But then I was passing, they were intercepting my passes. I got maybe it said I got 6 shots in, they got in 23. So I was like, yeah, let me just do some more training on this for a bit.
Yeah, I was playing, and then I wish there's a setting, something in the settings where you can automatically have it switch your character once the ball hits, the character gets it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's kind of my thing with sports games. There's, I'll pass the ball, but then I'll forget that it doesn't automatically switch your character. So I'm over here trying to move the character, and then I realize I'm not moving that character, I'm moving someone else who is on the other side of the field or something.
Yeah. It's most sports games aren't like that, or you pass it to somebody that you switch to that control.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing 2K or Madden where you could play as just one player. But yeah, I'm gonna need some training on this one.
Yeah, it's been pretty different, but it's fun. I'm having fun. I just want to get the controls down so I can try to get better.
Yeah, I just want them to keep bringing out the Mario sports games.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that Mario Baseball is next.
They need to bring Mario 3-on-3 hoops back.
Oh yeah, that one was fire. To be honest with you, they should have just put all this in one game.
I think didn't they try that with one of the sports games?
Well, did they? Well, I guess they have like Mario versus Sonic at the Olympics.
I think they did do it. They did do a Mario sports game where they put like volleyball. I think bowling. So they put like 3 or 4 different sports in on one game.
Was that for the Wii?
Can't remember. I think it was either for the 3DS or for the Wii U or something.
No, I think it was the 3DS.
Yeah.
I think they had basketball. I think they had like tennis and golf or something.
Some different sport that they hadn't played before.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna get back on it today just to hopefully get better at it.
Yeah, it's quick to pick up. You just there's not a lot in the menus or anything, so you can just pick it up, do a quick game, and put it down. And the games are only like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it seems simple for the most part. I hadn't played the GameCube one since GameCube was the thing.
Yeah.
And it was just and we were having it was Farrah's birthday this past week, so we had like a little dinner for her here, so we had people over, and I went up to put Zara to sleep for a nap, and she fell asleep, so I was like, well, let me just get a quick game in real quick before I go back downstairs. And then that's when I got blown out. I was like, oh, I'll come back. But yeah, that's the only thing I've played really. I've been reading like comics and stuff.
Yeah, I got Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga too.
Oh, I was gonna get that, but sometimes Lego games are just not as fun for me.
Yeah, right now I like Lego games just because like the collectibles and stuff. I like just trying to collect everything. I've been playing the 2-player with Danny. That's been our game that we've been playing for a couple days. It's been pretty fun.
Yeah, I might check it. It was on sale this weekend, huh?
Yeah. I got the Ultimate Edition or the whatever with all the
one
DLC
that was,
characters.
Normally $69.99.
Yeah, it was only $55.
Yeah, no, I spent my quota on the strikers, so I was like, I'll wait. But I've been buying. Like I said, I think a few weeks ago, I've been buying more comics in person now. So this past week I went to a different comic book store in Walnut Creek. It's called Flying Colors Comics. That was the nicest comic book store I've ever been in. It's so like I think I don't know if it's new or not. I didn't check any of that, but all the shelves are new. It's like nicely painted inside. Like they have all these. They have sections for Marvel, DC, Image, like all that stuff separate. And then they have a front counter where they have like all the comic book stuff, and then they have a back counter where like it looked like they like had like the collectibles and stuff, like the statues, figures, stuff like that. And then on the back wall behind the front register, they have like classic comic books for sale. So they have like Spider-Man's first appearance or like Iron Man's, Captain America, stuff like that. So you look up there, some of them are like $60. I think I saw one for like $900.
Damn.
They had a whole bunch of shit. It was a really nice one. I've been going to this one in Livermore the previous weeks. It's called Fantasy Games and Books, I think. And that one's a lot older. It's really dark in there. Kind of grimy looking, but they have a big selection of stuff, and like they also have a place where they have like the old used comics, stuff like that. They have like hella pops in there, Pokemon cards, like every other trading card you could think of, action figures, shit like that. So their store is a lot bigger in Livermore.
Mm.
But I don't know. I might go back to Walnut Creek just for the book.
Yeah, I actually went to the comic book store yesterday, just because I looked up the process to get like your books graded and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, damn, like it's not too bad actually. I think I forgot what website it was, but they pretty much you just sign up, you print out a form, um, which books you're gonna send in. You
Mm-hmm.
put them in bags and boards, and then you stack them. They send a box that like you put the books into that kind of holds
Mm-hmm.
them in one spot, and then you put that box in another box, and then you send that off, and they go about doing it, and then they send it back to you. I was like, damn,
How
like
much was it?
it wasn't too bad. I think it was maybe, I think you can do like 1 to 10 books is like one price, and then if you add a lot more books, you can do there's like another price point. But I think it started at like $35 or something, or you had to sign up for a membership and then I think pay like a little bit more, but it wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think you and I talked about that a while ago. I want to try it
Yeah,
just to at least have one or two. Like I don't even care if it gets a bad grade, really. But
yeah, just to kind of have something to display it in. And yeah, I was thinking about sending. I got to find my first issue of Miss Marvel. I kind of want to send that in and see what
oh
I
yeah,
get. And then I have a bunch of like the Scotty Young like variant cover of some books. And then I went to
yeah,
the comic book shop yesterday to try to just find like some number ones of something, just to kind
mm,
of, you know, they may not be worth anything, but just to kind of have something that looks cool in the plastic.
that's usually how I go about like buying books every week. Is like if the stories that I'm reading have something come out, then I'll get whatever's out,
Mm-hmm.
and then I try to find maybe like one or two like number ones, just
Mm.
to like start something new and see what's out there, and then like I mean, I'm sure you know, like sometimes you pick up a number one, you read it, and it's like, nah, I'm not going back for number
Yeah.
two. Like I picked up the Spider Gwen verse number
Mm.
one because that just came out not too long ago, and I just didn't like the first one,
Yeah.
and I don't think I'm going back for the second one. The variant copies of the Amazing Spider-Man that just came out
Uh.
have been really good though.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for like some variant ish covers for some of them, but like for Spider Man, all they had was like issue 2 and 3, and they didn't have any number ones.
Yeah, the that I can't tell if it's Scarlet Witch or the Goblin Queen that one that I sent you that I got
Mm.
because it looks like Scarlet Witch with like the cowl,
Mm.
but I'm not sure, and it doesn't have anything to do with the story, so I'm not sure. And then I last week number 3 came out for the Amazing Spider-Man, and they had a scroll variant
Mm.
because I'm assuming that the next event has something. The next big event for Marvel has scrolls included.
Mm.
Because I've been seeing scroll variants for like hella different comic books over the last couple of weeks.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think because I was looking for like the variant covers for some of the stuff, but I didn't see anything. But as we were leaving, right next to the door, they had another stand of just like some books that are like a little bit older, but it looks like
Mm.
like the first issues of some stuff. So I think I might head back over there at some point, maybe like next weekend, and just kind of see what they had there sitting there. And I might go to like one of the ones that you said, because I
Yeah.
got hella time next weekend. I have off for some reason, so
Mm.
might as well just take advantage of it and go see what they got.
Yeah, that Walnut Creek one is really nice inside. And the guy at the counter was super cool. Like I've been in a few comic book stores where like the guy at the counter just doesn't seem like he wants to have anything to do with you.
Mm.
And then like the guy at the Walnut Creek one was super nice, super chill. The guy at the Livermore one is cool too, but he's a older dude.
Mm.
Um, So he's like, if you're ready to buy your stuff and he's in the back of the store, you gotta wait a little bit for him to get up there. But he's been cool. He's super nice. Uh, for those of you who care at all, they have the tap to pay, so you don't have to pull out your wallet or anything. Yeah, that's the safest option, guys. Always use tap to pay, please. But yeah, that's all I've been doing. Just picking up comic books when I can. I only go on Wednesdays, so I don't, and because I know I have the time sometimes during the week to just keep going. Like, oh, let me go check out this comic book store, but then it's like, I already know myself out. This is what we were saying before, where we're like, we do the Pokemon cards because we feel like we need to just collect something. I've felt the switch happen already with the comic books. And I can already tell you, like, if I go into a place and I know there's comic books there, I'm going to go try to find something. So I've told myself, Wednesdays only, that's it.
Yeah, I'm still just, I want to, I just don't, I don't have the space for it. That's why I just want to, I want to go through all of my books that I have and just kind of select the ones that I think, are cool or like have like good issues, and then just keep those and, maybe get rid of the other ones. Because I have like a whole, like the stuff you put your Christmas decorations in those bins. I have like one bin just full of like books, It's like that's just taking up so much space.
Yeah. I bought like a little it's like a little canvas box that's strictly for comic books, so you can store them in there. Because I just didn't want to have them because all the old ones that I just had sitting in like a small little cardboard box in the closet for a while. But I think I'm gonna. I was been thinking the same thing, is just get rid of my older stuff, because like I have like 2 issues of Savage Wolverine from 2012.
Yeah.
I don't think that anybody's looking for those. So I was thinking I'm just gonna get those together and take them to like half price books or something and just drop them off. Because it's, if I just keep a whole bunch of dead shit that I don't care about in the box, then it's just gonna pile up, and then I have a whole nother issue.
I know exactly what you mean.
Oh yeah, you know more than anybody. All right, but of course, speaking of comic books on the Comic Book Podcast, this week like I said before, we're doing Craven's Last Hunt.
Yeah.
Which is a well-known Spider-Man story. But some of you may not have heard of it, but that's why we're here. If you've heard it or you haven't, we're here either way, so you might as well listen. So in this story, we're dealing with Black Suit Spider-Man.
Okay, so this is a little bit after Secret Wars.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Black Suit Spider-Man, from my knowledge, he gained that suit in Secret Wars number 8.
Yeah.
And then didn't realize until he made it back to Earth that the suit was alive. And it began communicating with him. The suit he noticed how much stronger he was wearing the suit, and how much it helped him eventually lead. And how he didn't realize until he came back that the suit was making him stronger, and how much the suit actually helped him be Spider-Man. But what eventually happened was that because the suit was alive, it ended up taking out. At one point, it ended up taking Peter's body out as Spider-Man while he was sleeping. And fighting crime around the city while Peter was sleeping. So when he was waking up in the morning, he was like, why am I so fucking tired all the time? Before he realized that the suit was taking him out to fight crime. So that's the Spider-Man that we're dealing with right now. And this story is 6 issues. It goes over a couple different comic books. We got The Web of Spider-Man is one, The Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, and actually just those 3. But it's over 6 issues. So the first one we start with, it starts off wild. Web of Spider-Man number 31. We start this story with Craven standing in front of us, butt-ass naked, and he's wrestling a panther. And then after he beats the panther, he starts wrestling a gorilla, which he then he decapitates the gorilla with his bare hands. And then we cut. We realize that was like a dream that he was having.
Okay.
And that's a wild ass dream, to be wrestling animals butt ass naked. You got some issues, my man. So yeah, we cut to the present time, and then we see a much older Craven at this point, thinking back on his past. He walks to his closet knowing that he's going to be dying soon. He can feel it in his body. And for an unknown reason, he has... God damn. He walks to his closet knowing that he's going to be dying soon. And for an unknown reason, he has Spider-Man's black suit in his hand. Just hanging there like you would just grabbing a shirt. And we cut to a different time where we see this criminal named Joe Face. And he's just died. Joe used to give Spider-Man information on crimes when he could. He had no family around, only his fellow criminals, and they're having his funeral inside of a bar. Halfway through the service, black suit Spider-Man shows up just to give his condolences, and then he does that real quick, and he dips out. He goes back home, dealing with the classic conundrum that he kind of always deals with as Spider-Man. The what am I doing what's right? All these people keep dying. Uncle Ben, Captain Stacy, Gwen Stacy, now his friend Joe, and just recently, before this story, Ned Leeds had passed away as well. So he's had a long ass day, and after thinking of all that, he just falls asleep. Next, we see Craven sitting in a room full of spiders, and he's just grabbing handfuls of the spiders, just eating them. Just throwing them in his mouth, eating the spiders. And then seconds later, we cut back to Peter, and he wakes up in a cold sweat. He runs out of the window, and he throws on his suit, runs out the window, and he's just swinging through the rain. He's freaked out. Across town, we cut across town again. Craven is on the hunt. He's looking for Spider-Man. This is the only hunt that has stayed out of his reach for his entire career. This is the only hunt that he needs to complete so that he can rest peacefully. Across town again, Spider-Man's senses start going off. Or sorry, not too far across town. Spider-Man's senses start going off. And he knows that danger is near, but he can't see anyone. And a few seconds later, this dart comes out of nowhere, and he dodges it. But because he's so tired, he's so stressed out, he gets hit by the second dart that comes his way, and he starts hallucinating, and then he thinks he sees Joe Face just staring at him in the street. But his suit tells him that it's definitely not Joe Face. It's Craven that's down there on the street staring at him. So Spider-Man tries to run off, but the drugs from the dart are now entering his system, and it's becoming super hard for him to move. Craven ends up netting Spider-Man up, and then surprisingly he pulls out his rifle on him. And now Peter and his suit are both freaking out because Craven pulling out a rifle is not that's not his steez. That's not his thing. Like, he's a hunter. Like, the rifle is not part of his arsenal. So, and Craven keeps he's staring at him with his rifle pointed at him, and Craven keeps repeating the phrase, "Honor will be restored." So Spider-Man realizes that Craven is out of his mind at this point, and Craven ends up pulling the trigger on the rifle. The next thing that we see is Spider-Man laying in a coffin, being lowered into the ground, and then dirt being tossed on top of the coffin. And then we jump over to the Amazing Spider-Man 293. So we start this one with Spider-Man's headstone, which reads, "Here lies Spider-Man slain by the hunter." Then we jump over and we see Craven, who is now wearing the black Spider-Man suit, and he's laughing hysterically. It looks like he's lost his mind at this point. So we cut across New York, and you see a woman running through the rain when all of a sudden she trips and something pulls her down into the sewers. The hand that pulled her down was the hand of somebody called Vermin, he's a humanoid rat who was created by Baron Zemo and Arnim Zola. I don't know what the hell they were doing in that fucking lab, but yeah, those two created Vermin. And then we jump across the city again, and we see Mary Jane, who is up waiting for Peter to help her unpack so they can move into their new place. Thoughts keep running through her head, thinking that he might have died, because she hasn't heard from him or seen him for at least like a day at this point. And not too far from where Mary Jane is, Craven is running through New York trying to prove to himself that he could easily be the superior Spider-Man. He sneaks into a window, and a room has this... he sneaks into a window, and then in the house that he's in, one of the rooms has pink smoke like billowing out from the under the door, right? And he goes into the room to figure out what it is, because white people always do this. Like, you see something suspicious, why do you go towards it? just realize that this probably isn't a place that you shouldn't be, and get out of there. But yeah, he goes into the room with the pink smoke, and then he starts hallucinating. Out of nowhere, a large spider made of spiders comes alive and starts to consume him. We cut over back to the sewer system, and Vermin is finishing eating the woman that he dragged down there. When he sees a newspaper clip float past him, and it's Spider-Man on the front page. He remembers that Spider-Man and Captain America are the reason that he has to stay hidden in the sewers. But now that he sees that Spider-Man is dead, he feels like he doesn't have to stay hidden anymore. We cut back to Craven giving into the spider made of spiders, and he just embraces them. We cut back to Vermin again, and he hears somebody calling his name, and he believes that the person calling his name is Spider-Man. And then we cut over to Mary Jane, and she decides that because she hasn't heard from Peter for a while, she's going to go out looking for him. And then when she's out there, she gets attacked by these two guys. They're catcalling her, trying to get her attention. And then when she doesn't, they try to harass her and go further with things. Out of nowhere, Spider-Man comes in for the save, and he beats the crap out of the two of them. So Mary Jane stops him from killing. He killed the first guy, and then she stops him from killing the second one, and he just runs off after that. And now she knows that, okay, the Spider-Man running the streets isn't Peter, so who the hell is it? Mm-hmm. So we cut back into the sewer system, and then we see Vermin finally making his way out of the sewers, but now he's on the hunt for... He thought Spider-Man was dead, and then he just saw that Spider-Man came in and saved this woman in front of him, which was Mary Jane. So now he came out of the sewer system because he is now on the hunt for Spider-Man. And then we jump over to the Spectacular Spider-Man 131. And we find out now that at this point in Spectacular Spider-Man 131, Peter has been gone for weeks at this point. And Craven's been running around the city acting as Spider-Man this whole time. So Craven's Spider-Man is watching a gang of criminals in their warehouse, and he decides to burst in and take out every single one of them. He does exactly that. He knocks out 25 men cold in a matter of seconds. Like, it doesn't take, this isn't a minutes long fight. He does this in seconds. 25 guys.
Does he have like his web shooters and stuff?
Yeah, because I think in the black suit, the web shooters are a part of the suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's
he took
pretty
off.
good at Spider-Man.
He literally took off the suit.
Yeah, yeah, because I think at this point Peter had found a way to separate himself from it.
Oh.
So that it wasn't that the suit. So because the suit was taking him out by himself. So he found a way to make it so that the suit wasn't a part of him anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Craven takes out the 25 guys in a couple of seconds, and then all of a sudden the cops burst in, and then that's when he takes off. Well, while the cops get the criminals out and take them to the hospital, one of the EMTs says, this guy right here, one of the criminals that got beat up, he's not going to the hospital. He's dead. And then Craven takes off the mask, and he's off already. He's away from the whole situation. He takes off the mask, and he screams to the world about how he's proven that he's been the superior Spider-Man in every way except for one. And then we cut over to Vermin, and he kidnaps another woman that was walking down the street, and he takes her to the alley. He eats her, and then after he walks away he goes into the street. A cop car pulls up and drives up, or a cop car comes down the street, pulls up next to him, and then he jumps through the window of the cop car. He takes the male cop out of the car, just straight out the window, and then he throws him in the street, and then he has like the power to control other rats, like real rats. So he throws the male cop into the street, and then he calls the other rats to come start eating him alive. And then he tells the female cop, like, you're coming with me. And she's like, please just call off the rats that are eating him, and like, I'll do whatever you want. And he's like, he doesn't want to eat the female cop. He's like instantly in love with her. She's like, oh, just tell them to stop. I'll do whatever you want. He was like, okay. He yanks the female cop out of the window of the car. He slams her on the hood of the car. He gets on top of her, licks her face, and then walks off.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. And we cut away again. We see MJ, and she's at Robbie Robertson's apartment, and she's trying to talk to him about the fact that Peter's been missing for so long. But it's like 2 a.m. So she shows up here. She wants to talk to him about the fact that he's missing. And for some reason, she just can't get out the words to tell him that Peter's missing. So she
Girl, it's 2 a.m. You better find those words. You're not waking me up for nothing.
Like, fam, I'm. This is New York. You just woke me up for no reason. You better tell me what the hell's going on. You're not just gonna, oh, I'm so sorry I did that, and then just leave. No, we have to. If you're not gonna tell me what you came to talk about, then now we have things to talk about because you just woke me up. So yeah, she leaves. She takes off. We cut away again, and now Craven knows exactly who the news has been calling the cannibal killer, because he sees Vermin just walking down the street, and he knows that has to be who they're talking about. So Craven knows that that getting to him and killing him will be his final act of superiority over Spider-Man. So at this point in my notes, I started calling him Craven Man. But Craven makes his way to the sewers in hopes that, because he had saw Vermin go back into the sewer at this point, and we see Vermin down there sleeping, and he wakes up with Craven standing over the top of him. They start fighting, and Craven thinks this is an easy win for him, but Vermin's not going down. He's not soft in any way. He's giving Craven a real fight here. And then as they fight, he keeps telling Vermin, "The last time we fought, I couldn't have beaten you if Captain America wasn't there." So he's kind of playing like he's actually Spider-Man to Vermin. So he's oh no, sorry, Vermin said that. Like I would have been able to beat you if Captain America wasn't there. And Craven is saying basically the same thing on his end. Like you're the last kill that I need to prove that I'm better. And then we cut over to Peter's grave that he's buried in, and for some reason the whole grave is just engulfed in spiders at this point. And we cut back again to Craven, and he's coming out of the sewers. He has Vermin in his hand, just dragging him down the street. And then we cut back to Peter's grave, and then all of a sudden a hand reaches out from inside the grave. And that's, I'm sure, I know you have seen that cover.
Yeah.
Of that book with the hand just coming out. It's like, has to be one of the more famous covers that they have. And yeah, we're halfway through the story already, guys. So, yeah, so the hand is coming through the grave, and that was the end of that story. And then we start with Web of Spider-Man, number 32. We see Peter. It starts with Peter being naked, balled up in the fetal position, in an all-white room. And he's staring at him is the recently deceased Ned Leeds. Ned's staring at him, but out of nowhere, Ned disappears, and Peter finds himself fighting his inner demons, and he comes to the realization that Craven killed the Mask, not the man Peter Parker. And Peter uses his strength from his love for Mary Jane to help him make his way out of the grave, all while repeating visions of Craven shooting him just keep flowing through his head. After getting out of the grave, he runs into the mausoleum. He sees a newspaper there, and he freaks out because at this point he's been dead, quote unquote dead, for the last 2 weeks.
So he's been in a coffin for 2 weeks?
He's been, I guess, unconscious, you could say, or I don't really know what the actual word for it would be, but he's been basically I guess you could say he's been in a coma in the grave for 2 weeks.
That's a long time to be in a coffin.
Yeah. So yeah, he sees it from the newspaper that he's been there for 2 weeks. At the same time, Craven can actually feel that Spider-Man is out of the grave at this point. So Peter makes his way back to his apartment. He finds Mary Jane sitting up in the dark, crying because she hasn't seen Peter for 2 weeks. And when he comes through the window, he takes off. He's wearing his actual suit, but he takes off the mask, and then they hold each other. They lay down. He finally gets some real sleep, but he gets up a few hours later, and then Peter decides that he has to go find Craven and put an end to all of this pretty quickly. And she tries to stop him from going. Of course, it's Spider-Man, so he goes anyways. But once he gets out there, he finds Craven pretty quickly. And I'm assuming that he's just kind of going off his senses, but he finds him pretty damn quick. And that was the end of Web of Spider-Man 32. And then we jump over to The Amazing Spider-Man 294. Like I said, Spider-Man found Craven pretty quickly. He's in like this kind of old, this old beat up warehouse that nobody's using anymore. So Spider-Man goes in through the window, and he's not wasting any time. He gets straight to it. He's understandably pissed. He's been in a grave for 2 weeks, and Craven has been going around as Spider-Man, like actually killing people. So Spider-Man keeps hitting him, keeps swinging as hard as he can, but Craven just isn't fighting back at all. No punches thrown, nothing. And Craven says, "Hit me all you want, but I've already won." And then Craven goes on to say, he's like, "I allowed you to live. I could have easily killed you that day, but I killed Spider-Man, and for the next 2 weeks, I proved to be your superior in every way." And he tells Spider-Man, "Come with me. I need to show you something." And now his spider senses are going crazy. Oh, so no, sorry, that was my fault. So Craven tells Spider-Man, "Come with me. I need to show you something." And because Spider-Man's senses aren't going crazy, he's like, "Okay, like I'll go with you." And he takes Spider-Man to the cage that is housing Vermin, and he tells him, "You and Captain America barely beat him together. I did it alone. I caged him." And then he grabs a torch off of the wall and he throws it into the cage where Vermin is, trying to just like burn him alive.
Jeez.
So Spider-Man quickly yanks the torch out of there, and he gets in Kraven's face and he tells him shut up. He says, "Let's just get to the fun and like get this over with. I like you basically killed me for 2 weeks. Like let's just get to it." And Craven says, "Okay, that's what you want to do." He opens up Vermin's cage, and then Craven starts to instigate a fight between Spider-Man and Vermin. And Vermin, of course, isn't the brightest person, so he takes the bait. And then they start to fight, but Vermin he's too strong. And he goes in for the kill on Spider-Man. Sorry. But Craven stops him before he gets that far. And then Craven sends him away. He lets him free. And then he tells Spider-Man to, like, "Okay, you just got your ass beat. Make your way upstairs." And then once he gets up there, he tells Spider-Man again, he's like, "You can go now." And Spider-Man's like, "What the hell? Like, what do you mean? Like, after all you did, you think I'm just going to leave so you can go about killing more people?" And then he tells Spider-Man, "All the years we've known each other, you know I'm a man of my word. From this day forward, Craven will never hunt again." So Spider-Man leaves, knowing that Craven is actually a man of his word. And Craven says goodbye for the last time. And then later on, we see Craven in his home with the coffin laid out. He finally feels calm. He lays in the coffin with a rifle in his hand. He puts the gun in his mouth and he pulls the trigger.
Jeez. Blows his brains out.
Yep. And then this is the last issue, Spectacular Spider-Man 132. We see Spider-Man going through the tunnels in the sewer now, searching for Vermin. He's having flashbacks to waking up being buried alive. Before Craven had shot himself, he called in an anonymous tip to the cops to come check in on Craven because they think he was the killer. When they arrive, the cops find a confession letter signed by Craven with proof that he had been killing people as Spider-Man for the last few weeks.
Very honorable.
Spider-Man, yeah, he's a man of his word, just like he said. Spider-Man finally finds Vermin and starts beating his head in, but he pulls back and tells him, like, "Okay, Spider-Man tells him, I beat your ass enough. Just let me help you become, I guess, human again." So Vermin almost goes for it, but he just decides against it. At this point, Spider-Man's exhausted. He knows he can't keep up the fight, so he just runs off, making it to the surface. Vermin chases him, but when he gets to the surface, he hops out into the middle of traffic. Spider-Man saves him from being hit by a truck and takes him to the cops, webs him up in front of the police station. And then when the cops come to arrest him, Spider-Man tells them to relax. He tells Vermin, relax, I'm going to call Reed Richards. We're going to help turn you back into a human. And then he takes off. Spider-Man heads home to finally relax and spend time with his new wife, who's been worried about him for the last 2 weeks because he just disappeared. And a few days later, Craven is being buried by his team of security guards. And that was Craven's last hunt.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It was short, sweet, got to the point.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it. It was just a quick story, just straight to the point. Nothing else. There was no filler. No, it was a Spider-Man story. No random Thor stories popping up in the middle of it. But I'm giving it I'm blowing up a house for that.
I guess you could blow one up for me too.
I just realized that the first button I pushed was Paul Walker. So I'm sorry. I'm gonna blow up 2 houses to make up for that.
You gotta really mark those buttons.
I really do. I keep forgetting. I don't know how I keep forgetting. I'm the one who put the sounds in those spots. But yeah, that was it's a great story for me. I loved reading it. Some of these stories we take notes on it while we read it, and the taking notes makes a bad story even worse. But taking notes on the really good stories, I feel like it ingrains it in my mind even further.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I liked it. I really liked it.
I liked it too.
Shout out Spider-Man. What were you saying?
No, I was going to say it took a turn it was a twist, yeah, to it.
Yeah, the ending was a surprise. I didn't think it was. I thought Craven would just like keep going with it and like keep killing, or like I don't know what I thought he was gonna do. But like his whole thing was really just like, I want to prove that I am better than you.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did it, and then I was like, all right, I'm good. Like, there was nothing else to it. It was only to prove that. And then he only wanted, like, he knew Spider-Man was going to wake up and come out of the grave. And he just waited until he could say it to his face that I'm better than you.
And then he
disappears. It was nuts. I loved it. But that's all I got this week. So like I say all the time, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for coming back again this week. Thanks for those of you who just showed up this week. This is a good week to start. Go back and listen to what we've done previously. There's at this point, we got damn near 50 episodes out. So
you got your pick of the crop, whatever you want to listen to.
Yeah, so I'd say start anywhere after episode 10 and you should be good. But if you know anybody that's into Marvel or comic books, share it with your friends. Follow us on Instagram at the Webheads Podcast. Share that with your friends or family, your cousins, your sisters, your brothers, your nephews, your nieces, your grandma, anybody. And
grandma.
We will send it to everybody. Send a mass text to all of your family members with the link. And we will be back next week to do it all over again.
And again, and again, and again,
and again,
and again.
Yeah. We're knocking them out left and right, guys. And we're going to keep going with it. So we will talk to you guys next week. Peace.
Adios.